Anna, one thing that we have seen throughout the last probably 15 to 20 years is partisan politics, and everything is wrong or right, everything is right or left. Do you think this discussion right now about whether or not the president can debate virtually will also toe the party lines?
Wait and see, honestly, to answer your question about that. One thing that I did find earlier today that was really interesting is that if this debate, goes forth, as a virtual debate, it's not the first virtual debate. We actually saw one in 1960. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't want to take your talking point, but
no, you
this isn't
absolutely.
the first one.
I'm agreeing with you. You're absolutely right. This is not the first time that this has happened. Fill us in. When was the last time this happened?
It was Vice President Richard Nixon and Senator John Kennedy. They debated virtually. So this isn't new. It just, typically we haven't had to deal with that. We haven't had to deal with a pandemic this size before. But when it comes down to, this is not the first time that we've seen this before. So the Commission of the Presidential Debates have done this before. Obviously, it's not the preferred way to do a debate. The candidates would obviously prefer to do it under different circumstances in person. But they're saying because of the safety concerns, because the president tested positive, this is in their decision after consulting with health advisors that this is the best thing to do moving forward.
Right now, what is the feeling in Washington with regards to those who have tested positive inside the White House? I was reading today a little bit on Twitter, which you can get in trouble for, I will admit, just as well as anybody else. What are the conditions of those that are not named Donald Trump right now?
Everyone is kind of extra cautious here. I know, just speaking as a reporter on Capitol Hill and who goes to the White House often, it's everyone's kind of back, being very extra cautious right now because there are a lot more cases spiking up on Capitol Hill and at the White House, and it's just interesting to see this spread so quickly, and obviously everyone's kind of concerned. This is a pandemic.
Sure.
No one wants to catch the virus, so everyone's kind of on high alert and just being careful, and trying to follow the CDC guidelines. And like you said, like everyone says, wear a mask, social distance. But it really feels like when you open Twitter these days that another person tested positive, and so that's unfortunately what we're starting to see more and more frequently.
Anna Wiernicki is joining us now live from Washington, D.C. as we continue to talk about debates. It is one of the hot topics right now. We are on our NewsNation Now Facebook page. You can follow us live right now. Ask any question, and I will be sure to relay that on to Anna, who is there in Washington, has been covering this election cycle. Again, you tweeted out 26 days to election. What do you think each camp will be doing over the next 3+ weeks to prepare for what is a very, very busy Tuesday in November?
Presidential nominee Joe Biden has been hitting the campaign trail. We saw it multiple times this week using Gettysburg earlier this week, Monday in Florida. So he hasn't really slowed down. Obviously, President Trump testing positive puts him kind of sidelines him in this campaign because he can't be out there at his rallies and he can't go to these states, these swing states. And so, he's tweeted out that he wants to get back out there. He wants to, start traveling again, but he can't right now because, he's quarantining and in isolation in the White House right now. So, we're really seeing him even more active on Twitter than he is typically. And so, the candidates are just adjusting, 26 days to the election. It's, all hands on deck, but we're just seeing it kind of in different platforms right now as we lead into November.
You mentioned the president is more active on social media, and that is the case. He tweeted a video 3 hours ago. He also tweeted his appearance on Fox Business, where he did say that he was not going to be a part of this debate if it is in a virtual setting. But he also tweeted out about 12 hours ago that Mike Pence won big. Have you been able to get a sentiment right now of what lawmakers thought about that vice presidential debate last night?
If it's really down party lines on
Yep.
who kind of says who won that debate last night. It's hard to say, but lawmakers, Republican lawmakers, obviously, throwing their support behind Vice President Pence, and Democrats for Senator Kamala Harris. And that's really what we're seeing. And that just shows to the division, like you were talking about earlier, on Capitol Hill, that we're seeing recently.
There is no doubt that that is there. I do want to talk about, before we go, because it was what was buzzing on social media yesterday, the fly that landed on the vice president's head. I just clicked on Joe Biden's Twitter page. He is selling fly swatters. They're going to find any way possible to capitalize on anything possible, even if a fly ends up on the vice president's head for about a minute in a debate, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've been up since 2 a.m. because I've been doing the morning shift this morning. And so when I was typing into Twitter, the debate, literally the first pages on Twitter were just talking about that fly that was on Vice President Pence for about 2 minutes. I even saw, I think, a Twitter page that was the fly itself. So, people are really taking that and going with it. It's funny to watch. All
right. Anna Wiernicki, thank you so much for joining us, having a little fun at the end of this. We appreciate you taking the time here on News Nation Now. As we wrap up, again, the news this morning, President Trump was on Fox Business talking about the debate last night, as well as the debate between he and Joe Biden coming up next week. The Commission on Presidential Debates has said that it will be a virtual debate next week. I want to read a quote that the president said to Fox Business. Quote, "I am not going to waste my time on a virtual debate. That's not what debating is all about. You sit behind a computer and you do a debate. It is ridiculous," end quote. Again, the president right now appearing to not be in for this debate. As for Joe Biden, he has said that he will be a part of this virtual debate. The Commission on Presidential Debates has said this is in response to the president's coronavirus condition. That is all the time we have right now on News Nation Now. We appreciate you taking the time to join us, and make sure tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time you join News Nation. It is on WGN America. You can always download our app at the app stores. You can also follow us on all our social media accounts. It is at News Nation Now. For now, that's all the time we have. Have a fantastic morning. I'm Aaron Nolan. See you next time.